Hello, friends. My name is Irene, and this is my booktube channel Irene Reads. And today I want to talk about all the books I read in the month of August. So, August was so reading month. Let's start with three-star reads. So, the book that I liked but not loved. And the first of them was Mr. Penumbras 24 Hours Bookstore. I decided to read more books about San Francisco that I read now because, as you know, I live in suburb San Francisco, and we moved here 5 years ago. I don't know much about this area. I was never interested in California's history, so now I try to read more books about this area. And one of the first books I decided to read was the most, easy, enjoyable, adventurous. I thought so. And this is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. Now I think this is a series. There is a sequel for this book, but I don't think I will read it, but who knows. So this book about young man called Clay Jannon who lives in San Francisco, and one he lost his job in startup, and he find a job in 24 hours very unusual bookstore where there are not so many usual regular books, but there are a lot of books with ciphers and strange people who come there at night who seem to be like a secret club members who do something with these books. And then, he did something with um, programming. He used to do web development. And then he had some friends in Google and he broke up the code of this secret society. This is very strange book. From one side, this is a book about books, which I always like. This is a book about secret societies, which I also like. This is a book about, old times printing machines and ciphers and calligraphy and all these things which I adore. But from the other side, this is very just, it only touches these topics. It never goes too deep to get interesting for me. And also, there are a lot of stuff about um, evil big IT companies like Google. So mainly this is a book about Google and about how people, these strange IT people from Google tried to broke the code and um, they couldn't do it. And then one designer and developer, because he likes books and because he like design, he broke this code. I think that's it. This is something in the middle of Da Vinci Code and Sphere. And I think it takes words from all these books. Like, it's not very interesting. It's not too adventurous. It's not, exciting. You do not want, what is this? You do not want to turn pages to see what happened next. And from the other hand, um, no, don't know. Maybe I get personal because my husband works for Google, but I don't like when this company is described as something evil and too powerful. And there are a lot of these myths about inside, about their restaurants inside, about how people work there, how they manage their company. I read parts of it to my husband and we just laughed out loud. So maybe I can say that this is like very funny book for all people who know how Google works. Yeah, I think this shows how painful the topic of big IT companies is for San Francisco. Like people here, lived there were there's no bohemian and intellectuals, and then these strange um, people from Google came, and from Facebook, and from all other these tech companies. And I think this is hard for people who do not know how to switch on computer and who do not want to know what TikTok is and all this stuff. And they try to imagine IT like this dark and powerful god, like angel gods like Poseidon and all this stuff, Zeus, who do things. Didn't enjoy it too much. Second book I've read and gave 3 stars to was Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is, I think, a very popular book now on BookTube. Everyone reads it, and it's a romance. It's a romance book about 2 authors who studied together at college, and then they never met up again after college. One of them is a romance writer, and another is literary fiction series writer. They met again at the lake house, where they both came in deep depression and writer's block. And to get away from this writer block, they decided to switch genres. So he writes romance novel now, and she tries to write literary fiction. And to help each other with this task, she takes him to to romantic getaways, to dates, to show how romance work, and he takes her to interview of this death cult, of members of this cult, or of relatives of the members of this cult, and all these depressing thoughts and things. And together they try to work through their depression, their family situation, um, divorce, father death, and all these different things, because each of them has very complicated, very mess up life. I think it was a very disproportional book. From one part, it was romance with all, kisses, sex scenes, um, romantic getaways. And from other point, like from other side, it was this deep depression, life problems, and it switched almost. Um, it looked like different books switched one after another, which was strange for me. Um, one moment I read a romance, and other moment I read like deep exploration of depression or of something. Um, Maybe this is good to do something. No, to try go outside the genre. So you wrote in romance, and then you try to go somewhere deeper. But I think it was this book was not done very well with this. 3 stars. It was enjoyable. It was easy. It was fun, but not too fun for me. Um, then another 3 star read was Life of Pi by Jan Martel. This book got a Booker Prize in 2002. And there was a very famous movie adaptation of this book, but I haven't seen it. So really, I knew nothing except of the trailer of the movie. This book is about a very young boy called Patel, or P like a nickname. And he lived in India with his family, and his father has a zoo, keeps a zoo. He's a zookeeper. And one day they decided to move to immigrate to Canada, and they decided to sell all their animals. So they ended up in a big ship who goes to Canada with all these animals, and the ship crashed, and the boy ended up in a boat with a tiger, a zebra, a hyena, and monkey. And this is a story about how he survived on this boat. Um, well, like 20 pages spoiler, they ended only he and tiger. So how he survived, how he tried to go fishing, how he tried to find fresh water, how he tried to feed this beast on this boat, and all these things. Um, but it is important to know that Patel is a non-reliable narrator, and the book, his story may be um, not all truth. Let's stay there. Um, First part of the book was fine about their life in India. Last part of the book was very interesting and very exciting and produced lots of thoughts. But most of the book was so very boring. And yeah, so I felt myself like I climbed on the high, very high mountain, and the view from this mountain was not that exciting that I expected. It was hard book to read because it's like Robinson Crusoe. If you enjoy this stuff, then you will enjoy this book. He go fishing and he tried to, to catch the fish, and he tried to beat the shark, and he tried to survive with this tiger, and he tried to feed this tiger, and he thinks a lot about stars and about tiger and about how he will survive, how long will he survive, and all along. And yep, it was like 200 pages of surviving. And then, well, advice from me. If you try to read this book and you get too bored, then skip to the last fourth of the book, I think. And you enjoy the ending, and you will know more about this story, and you can discuss it with others, because this book is something like, the Sixth Sense, like the movie Sixth Sense. At the end, the perspective for all the book changes, and we need to think through the whole book to understand what is true and what isn't. Next and last three-star book of this month was A Shadow and Bone by Lee Barduga. I want to read Six of Crows because like it's a task and a game for me. But as I understand, I need to read this trilogy, the Shadow and Bone trilogy first to understand how magic works. And I was really in the mood for fantasy, and I decided to begin it. So I gave Shadow and Bone 3 stars. Um, you know what? It was enjoyable. I kept looking through the pages and turning pages, and I was interested in what's going next. Um, I did not like the world, maybe because it was made close to Russia, but it was made very um, accurate, not very accurate. It was made very, not very thoughtful. And these kaftans and kvass and all the things, they really disturb me, like a lot. But from another part, like it's interesting, the magic is interesting, characters are very two-dimensional, but again, very rather interesting. I liked it. I can't say nothing bad about this. I will read the second part this month in September because I really want to read more fantasy, and why not this one? Um, yeah, we'll see. Again, love the magic, love the environment, didn't love characters, and didn't love all these Russian things that were thrown in there without any other thought. So, yeah, 3 stars, but I think I can recommend it for all fantasy lovers. Now let's talk about 4-star books. And they are two on similar topic but very different. You can't find more different books on this topic. So first 4-star book was our book club pick for the month, and it was The Hell by Catherine Stockett. And this is a book about 1960s USA, about a young girl called Skeeter who came from college to her house, to her home with her parents, and something changed in there. And she wanted to be a journalist. She wanted to write about important stuff. So decided to write a book from the point of view of Black women, how it is to be a Black woman living and working in White House. And as she is a white privileged young lady, she know nothing about this. So she decided to interview Black maids that work in her friends' families. And there are three narrators in this book. Miss Skeeter, Abilene, she is the older one, Black woman who like to work with kids, and there are a lot of interesting conversation about how to be a Black woman who raise white kids, um, how a kid can become a racist or not become a racist, and so on. And also there is a Minnie, who is another Black maid working in white houses, and she is very sassy, and she has sharp tongue, which cause her a lot of trouble. I liked this book. It was interesting. The characters were vivid and great and wonderful. I liked all of people in this book. It was so interesting to read about all of them. And all of the people were three-dimensional. Even the evil ones, you can understand it at some point. And I don't think that this is particularly a book about racism as a pure racism. No, I think it is more about um, woman life, first of all, woman rights at this time, about how to be a mother and how to be a nanny. And how to be raised by women of another color and of another class. And it causes a lot of interesting discussions in our book club. The one thing I want to tell about this book, which seems to me important, I think that most of the times author um, speaks about two topics and speaks about them as about one topic. So there is racism, and there is, you know, black and white people and how they interact. And it was a very hard time for black people in USA. But from the other hand, there are relationships, master and servant, and a lot of things that she depicts as things about, black women working in White House. I think can be the same for the white woman working in White House. For example, mother doesn't like her children that much, and nanny likes her children more, and her children began to love nanny more than mother. Doesn't matter what skin color has the nanny and what skin color has mom. It's more about like servant, maid, nanny, and master relationships. And I think this is important to divide these things. But overall, it was very interesting book, which causes interesting discussion in our book club, and I can highly recommend this is for all book clubs. And then I read another four-star read, and it was also about racism, and it was Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. This is the very first book of Colson Whitehead that I've read. I like this book a lot. This is about young boy, Elwood Curtis, who was raised at the time of segregation, and he was very influenced by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he was a great young man with like goals in life which he wanted to achieve, and he wanted to go to college. And on the way to the college, he ended up in the stolen car, not by him, but the police thought that he was the one who stole this car. And he couldn't go to jail because he was too young. And I think so. And he went to this special school for problematic children, Nickel Academy. And this is school where was terrible conditions and terrible things happened to lots of boys, but most to black boys. And there was a secret cemetery near this school where black boys were buried, unknown, unnamed. And there are a lot of things discussing in this book about cruelty, about segregation, about Jim Crow laws, about this terrible time in the USA history that I didn't know about, as I was raised in different country and I was never interested in this topic. It's my shame now, and now I know a lot more. This is very hard book to read. It's very painful. It's very angry, but I think it's describe the situation in the country at that time, and it describe the mood of the black people at the time very beautifully. And this is very hard and very important book. I really want all people to read this, not only Americans. But I think this is really important book for all the Americans. It got Pulitzer Prize this year, and it is for a reason. Of course, I understand that this topic is it's prioritized this year because of Black Lives Matter movement, but this is good book for every year, and this is important topic. And yeah, I liked it a lot. Very strong characters, very strong narration, interesting twist at the end. Uh, you feel that something bad will happen every other page, and you turn every page, waiting for something terrible to happen. And sometimes it happens, sometimes not, but you can't stop this feeling that the life is dreadful and very dangerous. And I think, yeah, this is a great book. Why I gave it 4 stars? It was too hard for me. I can't give it 5 stars. I didn't enjoy it. It was like a hard work, which I made every evening. I read it for it, like an hour a day. And then I needed to switch to something else, something more easy, like Shadow Bone, something, because I needed to stop this for the day. I couldn't live in this story too long. This is a very strong book. Yeah, I liked it. But, well, it's hard with ratings. I can't give it 5 star because few months later I will not remember how hard it was. And this is too hard for me. Like, this book was too hard um for my life right now. Yeah, but between 4 and 5 stars. Very, very good book. And the last book I've read this month and I gave it 5 stars was the Song of Achilles. I hope I pronounce it right. I read it in Russian by Madeline Miller. Now I really want to read Cersei because the Song of Achilles, was wonderful, wonderful, beautiful book. Um, well, I read Iliad in university. So while I ended this book, I went to Wikipedia and I reread Iliad because I wanted to, like parts of Iliad, because I wanted to understand which book I liked more, which story I liked, because this is very close to Homer. Like, she didn't change the plot at all, but she changed the attitude and the point of view. Patroclus is very sweet, very thoughtful, very gentle, and very ordinary man who lives in the world of heroes, gods, and big doings. And he is not suited for this life. And he had this blessing and this trouble of his life to love Achilles, who was like the main hero of the time. And this is story about their love. This is story about how he became man, and this is story um, about a couple who work on their relationships through the whole life, who try to survive in this cruel world, who became very different by work on their who they were very different from the very beginning, but they became even more different like people, and they still tried to work to make their love work. um I do not have words to describe this. I liked it so very much. um the language is so beautiful, it's so poetic, and the characters are wonderful. I liked almost all the characters from this book, and it was such a joy to return to this book every moment. And I knew the ending, because we all know the plot of the Iliad, but it didn't make me less exciting. And I think I wanted for the very end for them to be okay, to survive, to live long and beautiful life. And yeah, I like this. Um, I have no words now. It's also hard to read in Russian and then to describe the same book in English. If you can, you need to read this book. This is wonderful, beautiful book about love, about life, about became a grown up, and about knowing your end and still trying to live your very best life, to be the best version of yourself, even as you know your life will end soon. And also, this is a book about how to be in peace with yourself in the life which does not suit the people like you. Like Patroclus, he was so out of that world. He was so beautifully ordinary and wonderful man. And it was so hard for him to live between these heroes and gods and this war, and to see all this cruelty and blood. And he still found the place in this world, and he became the best version of the man. And yeah, I can't find the words, but I can't stop. This is wonderful book. I hope you'll read it. And if you read it already, tell me that you liked it, please, in the comments right below. And yeah, I am looking forward to read Circe. I think it will be even more powerful because I know it's about women, and from the woman point of view, maybe I can relate even more for this. But yeah, I like this book a lot. Yeah, that's it. So here is my August. It was not so... it was full of very different books. So it was interesting. Thank you for staying with me. I hope you are doing well. And please let me know in the comments below what was your favorite book you read in August. And what do you think about Beach Read, which is a very popular book now. And what do you think about the Song of Achilles, because I like this book a lot. See you in the next video. Bye!